Hey Salem Church, Pastor Sam here. I hope this message finds you doing well wherever you are and whatever you're up to at this season of your life. I just want to say from the very beginning here, I have missed seeing so many of your faces, and I so look forward to the time where we're going to be back together in physical proximity with each other, where we'll just have that opportunity to give a hug, to feel an embrace, a high five, a handshake. And I know that time may still be yet a little ways out, at least in full. But as we have heard over the last few months, steps are being taken now to reopen our economy, to reopen our businesses, and of course to reopen our physical locations for worshiping together. That's not to say that worship hasn't taken place. It's not to say that the church has been shut down over the last few months. It's just to say that once again we'll be able to draw close and to glean from one another's physical presence with each other. And I think this is super important. And as your leadership team and administrative council have come together, we've been discerning what our next steps should be and how we should take these faithful steps forward. And along with some guidance from our bishop and his cabinet, we believe that we have some of the next steps forward in the process of reopening. So I wanted to take just a moment here today to express exactly what that's going to look like over the next few weeks, at least the next stage. And then I'll come back to you in a few weeks with a final stage of our reopening. The next stage of our reopening is set to occur the beginning of June. And at the beginning of June, what we would love to be able to do is, of course, maintain our virtual presence online, but expand our presence out by opening up house churches across our community and across our county. House churches are simply ways in which we can congregate together in smaller numbers so that we are able to worship with one another, but do it in a safer way. So what we're asking from you is that if you're interested in being a house leader or a house host, that means you would open up your home. We would give you training on how to make sure that sanitation procedures are followed and that we're able to be safe in these environments. Then please let us know that that's what you'd like to do. If you'd like to be a leader of one of these house churches, which essentially means that you would help guide individuals not only through a time of virtual worship together, but also then a follow-up time of discussion around certain questions that are given and provided and a time of prayer, then let us know that as well. But we are taking active steps so that at the beginning of June, this can be our next way of congregating with each other before we're able to open up our campus to more mass gatherings. Now, of course, that means a couple things. It means, number one, that we do need houses and we do need places where we can congregate over the next month or so. But it also means that we're going to need more and more help to up our virtual presence online. Our presence online and in worship in this capacity, as you've been experiencing it over the past couple months, is not going away anytime soon, and we expect and anticipate that this will only increase. And so we would love for some of you who might have an inclination to get plugged in to this new virtual world and figure out ways that you can be a virtual host, or that you could help with editing or sound or some of those more technical aspects. Let us know that as well. Now, there's one central way in which you can kind of funnel all this information back to us. Along with this video is coming a survey that we want you to take just a couple minutes to fill out. And if you'll fill that survey out and submit it back to us, we'll start sorting through that data to see exactly where you might fit in the process. You may say, you know, I'm not even comfortable at this point in gathering in people's homes. That's okay. We're still going to have our virtual presence made safe and bring it home to you every single week. But there may be those of you who are out there who are ready and chomping at the bit, not only to get involved in this more familial way by opening up your home, but you may also want to be involved in the production of our virtual service each week. You'll have an opportunity on that survey to let us know that. And this is, you know, as strange as it may be, I just want to say pastorally, this is really not that far away from what the first church experienced. As we read through the early accounts of the church in Scripture, time and time again, not only in the chronicles that we see in the book of Acts, but also in some of Paul's letters, we hear stories of the way that the early church met in homes. In fact, Acts chapter 5, verse 42 says that every single day they met in the temples and they went from house to house, never neglecting the teachings of the apostles. It was important to them to make sure that they embodied with their entire life the ministry of the church, the call that God had given to them, and the way that they could send that call forward into the world. And they found that foundation in their homes. And I know so many of us are accustomed to finding sacred space somewhere out there. But if there's anything that this moment has compelled us to do, it's to say once again that sacred space is not found in an other. Sacred space is found where our feet stand. It's found where we lay our head at night. It's found where we gather with our family. This is sacred space. I sit today in front of this altar that we have made here in our home, a space where we can gather together every single week and just push a pause button on life and once again connect our lives spiritually together as a family, but also in a larger sense with the family of God that is not gathered in this physical space. And so this next step in our phasing process towards reopening our physical location and worshiping together in that capacity is another step just to embrace what God has been calling us to in this season, a deeper understanding of how our faith and our spirituality should wrap us up entirely. Not one segmented part of our reality, but our entire reality. So I look forward to coming back to you in another couple weeks with an update as to we press forward into phase 3, hopefully, God willing, in the next few weeks. But as we move towards phase 2 at the beginning of June, we definitely will be seeing this shift towards home churches and more meaningful ways that we can gather together. So now, if you don't mind, take just a couple minutes, fill that survey out, and hand it back to us as we press forward with what God has for Salem Church and this community. Thanks so much.